This is our midweek message from the Diocese of Blackburn for the 29th of July 2020. As we begin to draw near to August, we're still in the middle of the coronavirus worldwide pandemic. Yes, in the UK, the number of infections and deaths have reduced, and there's been an easing of the lockdown. But there are still local outbreaks, quarantine can be imposed at short notice, and the experts forecast a potential second wave in the winter. So the message rightly is one of caution. However, despite all that, we're beginning to see the consequences of the pandemic work their impact into our way of life and reveal what some people call the new normal is going to look like. It is becoming apparent that the future will see a reshaping of our priorities in the national economy and also for us in our church life. What the Archbishop of York called a stripping back to essentials, learning to live within our more limited means and cutting out what we do not deem to be essential. And what's that going to look like? This is a challenge to the world of work. I've been shocked to read of the large number of applications for current vacancies, revealing the scale of unemployment and the lack of jobs. A reconfiguring of the workplace is underway. The redeploying of the workforce, focusing on those areas of work that are essential and contribute to the common good, roles that have gained a new dignity during the pandemic. That's in the health and care industry, the food supply chain, and local authority services. And in these days of the availability of the internet for many, those who are able to work from home will not have to travel as they learn to operate remotely. And then there's a second area of challenge, and that's on the issues of our lifestyle. Recent evidence shows that those who are overweight are more liable to the dangers of ill health and the virus. This has resulted in a call to rethink diet and calorie intake, to eat more healthily and to take regular exercise. The hospitality industry and the culture of eating out has been deeply affected by the lockdown. And while it's always good to have a reason to go out, we have learned that we can manage quite well by eating at home. Food obviously is a very personal matter, but we all need to adjust our diet to eat more healthily. Another area of challenge facing us all after the pandemic is the environmental one. The last 4 months have been called a Sabbath for the environment, with fewer cars on the road and fewer planes in the air. Greta Thunberg must be delighted. Decisions about what is necessary travel should influence whether we go or stay. The holiday industry is likely to recalibrate, and attempts to reach the Church's carbon neutral deadline by 2030 should affect our use of energy. We must listen carefully to the voice of nature as we address climate change. And the scourge of plastic waste also has to be addressed by suppliers using more recyclable materials and by purchasers steering clear of goods wrapped in plastic. And as so much plastic is used, that will not be easy. And one more. During the pandemic, we've been faced with the ongoing racism in much of our culture and institutions. The Black Lives Matter protests all around the world have brought to the fore what's been highlighted many times, that discrimination is unacceptable. The new emerging normal needs to be around a better way of treating others, and that is with respect and dignity. So when I say we have to reshape the way that we live after the pandemic, even though it is not yet fully past, it's going to be quite a challenge. Giving up on certain things, creating new priorities, changing mindsets and patterns of behaviour, and handing on to the next generation a more sustainable pattern of behaviour and a cleaner world. One Bible verse comes to mind to address this challenge, and it's one that's repeated several times and in various contexts, and is applicable to church life as well as life in general. Let me quote from Galatians chapter 6 and verse 7. Do not be deceived. God is not mocked, for you reap whatever you sow. In many ways, we're reaping today what we've sown in the past. My prayer is that we will sow now that which will lead to a good harvest in our nation, in our local communities, and in our churches. Thank you for listening.